let's make a connection, all right? So you know I'm here.
You're here to help us learn about schema.
Right. And you're going to help me learn about schema because I know you've been studying schema. And very nice. Can you say good morning, Mrs. Maiers?
Good morning.
I just want to hear that. That's music to my ears. So I can tell. Oh, man. Look at what I did. I'm sorry. I can tell that you guys have been working really hard on the thinking part of reading. And that makes me so happy. And I know the tools that you've been using for the thinking that's required in reading, you are really familiar with. So tell me a little bit about this thinking tool, these files of knowledge and experience that we have in our brains. Why is that an important tool to pull on and to use as readers? Why don't you just share that with your neighbor, and then we'll pull what some of your conversations are as you talk with your neighbor. Why is this such an important tool? Define schema for me. You can define what it means. When I say schema, like if you were next to somebody in Walmart and they said, schema, what is that? What would you say to them? Yeah. All your knowledge about reading, but really all your knowledge about life and learning. Everything that your brain has experienced and that you know and that you believe is a part of who you are. It's a part of your schema. So if we think about how our brain holds and uses that, that's where we get the idea of files. So everything you know about snakes, not only what you have seen, but maybe you've actually seen a real one, maybe you've seen one on TV, maybe you read a book, but also your attitude and your feelings about snakes are all in and are all a part of your schema. Now, here's what I want to talk about with schema. Oh, first tell me why this matters. Why do you need to know all this stuff when you go to read this book? Why should you pull this file when you go to read this book? How's it going to help you as a reader? Yeah.
Because the stuff that you already know about snakes is going to help you figure out what the book's about.
That's exactly right. You have to connect. Have you heard that word? Yeah. You've got to connect any new information to what you already know. And the reason you do that is because your brain remembers connections. It doesn't remember facts and details. Your brain remembers connections. And the more connections you make, then the stronger and richer and bigger file that you have the next time, and you're smarter because of those connections. So here's what I want to talk about today. This is what I see you're already good at, what your teacher's sharing with me. When you see the front cover of this book, what file do you pull out? You grab the file of what? Go ahead and just say it. Snakes. Now, how many of you grab the file of science writing? Grab the file that this isn't just a book about snakes. This is not a story about snakes. What kind of book is this? Is it oh, it is a fiction book. No, it's not.
Well, did I grab the wrong one?
Kind of. No, okay. Let's pretend it's nonfiction, okay?
Just grab one.
We'll just pretend. Put that fiction file away. That not only do good readers, when they see the front of the book, grab their file on the topic of the book and ask themselves, what do I know about snakes? They grab the file on the kind of book it is. And we call the kind of book something is. It's a fancy French word. Do you know what that word is? We call that the genre of the book. Now, here's why pulling both of those files is so important. Because you may know a lot about snakes, but are you going to know a lot about every topic you read on? No, you're not. But if you can pull the genre file, I promise you it will help you find important things in the book. It's like a grocery store, your genre file. Because even if I asked you to go into a grocery store that you don't have Schema on. You've never been there before in your whole life. So how many of you have been to the Doll's grocery store on 156th Street in Clive, Iowa? Raise your hand. Okay, Mike, put your hand down. You put your hand down. So your file is empty, right? So you would think you'd have a hard time in there. But you know what? You know the genre of a grocery store. You know the format. You know how grocery stores are organized. You know what to expect when you walk in the door of a grocery store. So if I said, I want you to go get me I want you to get me a pound of hamburger and I want you to get me one single Snickers candy bar. Turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, could you do that? If I brought you to Doll's, could you do that? Snickers. Okay. Where is the beef? Now, that used to be a funny thing, where's the beef? But you're too young to know that. It makes me feel old. But where is the beef? If you walked into this grocery store, where would you go to find me my hamburger? And where's that? Is it right when you walk in, or is it in the... It's in the back of the store. See? You knew how to get around there because you knew the genre of a grocery store. Where's the single Snickers candy bar? Yeah?
In the front.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because all the candy is in the front where you go to check out.
That's exactly right. So you know what file you used? You didn't just say, what do I know about hamburger, what do I know about candy bars? You said, what do I know about getting around in a grocery store? That is what helped you the most. So, even if you get a book and you don't know a lot about the topic, you're okay because this is the file that is really going to help you figure out what's important in the book.